I am not the wife that everyone imagined themselves to be as a young girl, right? The woman that stays home, that cooks and cleans and makes 3 meals a day. And so we're finally here. I'm so excited. This is our first tea time in Kita's Corner. How do you like that name? I'm loving it. It's vibes. Tea time in Kita's Corner. Yeah, I love that. Well, it's not really tea. We gotta work on that name. Because I don't think it should be tea time. Because when I think of tea, it's like drama. It's going to be a place where I'm going to converse with my audience, with my ladies, with my men, talk about different topics, answer questions. This is all from Turmeric Tuesdays. That is a space on Instagram where I go on live and I just chat with my audience, and people give me topics that they want to talk about or questions, and usually my girlfriends jump in. So I don't think I like the tea time. It's just going to be a corner that I find wherever I am, and I'm always going to ask my girls to give me any questions. My ladies go through so much. We have a lot going on, and sometimes you just want someone that you can confide in. So I just want to make this a platform where we can, discuss these conversations and hopefully help so many other women. So of course this video is much different than all the other videos. I got my tea courtesy of Joires Spa. Jories Home has a line of teas, and I have my immunity in here. I have my candle out. I have my eucalyptus. Y'all already know. If y'all know me, it's just about to be vibes. So if you're new here, thank you so much for coming. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you're here. Our family is growing. Can't you see? I'm excited. I love it. I love having you here. And I'm happy that I'm growing with you guys, and I can't wait to see where we're gonna be. Let's get started. Marriage advice. I'm 25 and I'm newly married. I'm gonna start off by saying I got married when I was 25, and I don't regret it at all. I think I was ready mentally to be married at 25. However, that is not the case for everyone. I do think that a lot of people can get married and can be successful in their marriage. The advice that I would give to you is to always communicate and always listen to one another. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of us tend to listen to talk and not listen to understand. Does that make sense? Listen to talk and not listen to understand. So, disagreements are going to come up. Miscommunication is going to happen. Not understanding your significant other in every circumstance is going to happen. I feel like what helped me in my marriage is, I guess, being vocal. I'm very vocal, sometimes to a fault, because I needed to work on my delivery. The person that I am now at 32 is not the person that I was at 25. You guys need to give each other grace. This is a new beginning. This is a new journey. You guys are learning each other. You're learning yourself. Every day from here on out, you're going to change. You're going to evolve. You're going to, have a deeper understanding for what your marriage is to you, because everyone's marriage is different. So I'm going to give you advice on your marriage just in a general standpoint. But the things that I do in my marriage cannot work for a lot of people, and vice versa. My husband and I have a very respectful marriage. He respects the woman that I am, the woman that I was, and the woman that I'm going to become, and vice versa. At the end of the day, the end goal is for you to be happy by yourself, your spouse to be happy by himself, so you guys can be happy together as a whole, as a unit. Communication, trust, honesty, giving yourself the grace to grow with one another. And that's it. And everything's gonna work out. I wish you all the best in your marriage. Feeling so unmotivated to work out or eat healthy. I'm a new mom, a wife, and I work full-time. Help. So I see you, sis. I am you, you are me. Okay? It's very hard. It's very hard. So what I think motivated me to like get back on my healthy journey is to do like a cleanse of my social media. I feel like what you see is what you become. So I follow a lot of girls that are fitness trainers, that eat well, that work out, that put their health first and makes it a priority. So that is something that I wanted to see more of. And I think I went from like following 4,000 people, and I'm now at like 1,400. So that's a huge cleanse. But I felt like I needed that because typically the Nikita that I know, I've always been very, very happy, very outgoing, very productive, very optimistic, very passionate, very goal oriented, and I felt like I was slowly losing myself these past couple of years. And it's for many things, right? Like when you become a mom, literally everything changes for you. Not only are you going through, or may go through, because not everyone goes through it. Well, actually, everyone does go through it. Everyone goes through postpartum. And postpartum essentially means the post of having a baby. So it's how you're feeling after a baby. That's all it means. Now, the severity or the unseverity of whatever you're going through, that varies. But everyone goes through postpartum. Postpartum simply means your post-experience post having a baby. That's it. So it's very hard for us, right? And then when you're a wife, it all depends on the kind of wife you are, right? Like, it's hard nowadays because I am not the wife that everyone imagined themselves to be as a young girl, right? The woman that stays home, that cooks and cleans and makes 3 meals a day, and gets them ready for church the night before and takes them to church on the weekends. And you know, I'm not that mom. I'm an entrepreneur, and I was an entrepreneur before I became a mom. Things vary. I knew that once I became a mom, my life was going to change, but I've already prepared myself for that. So when that happened, I slowly began to change like my work schedule, you know, my priorities, because all of those things change. So I feel like you have to decide what kind of role do you want to play in all of those positions, and figure out what role looks best for you in your life, and then you can decide how to prioritize being healthy and making the time. Because honestly, it's really the time. You only have 24 hours in a day. If you're working full time, that tells me that you're already outside of the house 10 hours of the day. You only have 12 hours left, right? And you're a wife and you're a mom, so you're either dropping off your kids at school, picking up your kids from school, preparing their meals. You have to sleep. So out of that 24 hours, 10 is already dedicated to work. Hopefully 6 to 8 hours is dedicated to sleep. And then the rest is everything else that you have to do, right? So now you have to prioritize, like, what is important to you? Like, do you want to dedicate time to working out? Then you do so. And by doing so, you feed your brain with the things that you want to do. So I listen to fitness people on Instagram before I go to sleep, so I can prepare myself to be excited to work out the next day. I don't want to work out all the time. But what I do love is how I feel after working out. What I do love is the results that I see. What I do love is me subconsciously making myself think that I may live a longer life from doing this. So I do it, you know? So my first advice to you would be to do a cleanse on your social media. Follow fitness people. Follow people that motivate you, that makes you want to do it. So you could then say, okay, this person is like me. If she's doing it, I can do it. And honestly, starting slow is always okay too. Like, you don't have to jump right into it. You can work out for 1 day a week to start, and then 2 days a week. And then, you know, you find ways. But let me tell you something. You find the time to do the things that you love. Because honestly, before I started doing Pilates and working back out with my trainer, I thought it was going to be extremely hard, because I was just like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I'm exhausted as is, so how am I going to do this? And guess what? I figured it out. Now, has my life changed? Absolutely, because I don't have time to talk to my friends as much as I used to. I don't have time to do frivolous things that I used to do, like watch shows and watch TV. I don't. Because so when I'm not home, I'm actively doing something. I'm either on my way there or on my, you know, like, there's so much other variables in my life going on. But I knew that I wanted to prioritize being healthy, and I wanted my 30-30 year and on to be health. Health is wealth to me, and I feel like I've always known that. And you fall off. Like, I'm gonna say the last 5 years I've been a mom, a new mom, meaning my son is 5. So once I gave birth to him, my whole life changed, right? And you have those spurts. Like, I remember after my son, I lost so much weight, because in my mind I had that moment again of like, you gotta get yourself back to who you are, and not to look good. It was for my mental. Like, I want to feel good. I want to feel healthy. You know, like, I want to eat healthy. Like, all of those things. I started watching more people that, you know, like, cook their foods, and I don't cook my foods, guys. Like, I'm being completely honest with you guys. I used to do that. I do not do that. And I'm trying to do that again. So for the past 2 weeks, I've been cooking my meals, but it's because it's what I'm seeing. It's what I'm following. So I'm being motivated again to get into that spiral of that part of my life. It's not that I don't know how to cook. I actually enjoy cooking. I just didn't want to do it. You know, like my kids have my Nana. Their Nana is here on the weekdays. So I don't have to worry about the food for them. You know, like she takes care of the kids, their food, their meals are made. Every now and then I'll cook a meal when I'm home, but that's not something that I'm doing daily. However, is it things that I enjoy doing? Absolutely. So I had to get myself back into the groove of things. Like, Nikita, you love smoothies. Start making your smoothies again. Nikita, you want to be healthy, baby. So you got to go buy nuts. You got to go buy greens. You got to go, like, you have to do these things because it's not so easy for us to go out and buy it. Now, you're a new mom, so give yourself some grace. I want you to give yourself a ton of grace. This is a new stage for you. So slowly try to figure out how to find the groove for you and your household. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you're breastfeeding. If you are breastfeeding, then continue to focus on that, because that in itself is a workout. You know, as long as you're eating healthy for your baby, and when I say healthy, I'm not talking about eating salads all day. Eat good grains and oats and proteins, and, you know, eat good stuff for you and your baby. That's how you're going to produce milk anyway. So as long as you're doing those things and drinking lots of fluids, just walking around your home, just trying to be active, you're doing a lot as is. I don't know if you know this, but when you breastfeed, you're extremely tired from breastfeeding. So you don't want to overexert yourself, because in order for you to produce milk, you have to rest, baby. So take it easy. Give yourself some grace. And what I would do right now is I would start following moms that just had a baby like you, because that's going to motivate you, to make you believe that you can do it, because you can. So I hope that helps. All right, next question. Pay off my student loans or pay off my car this year? Both are $30K, and I only make about $85K per year. So it's the only for me, baby. $85K a year is a lot of goddamn money. You make more than me right now. No cap. So, but the only part, spare me, sis. But my advice to you would be, would I pay off my car? Both are $30K, and you have the opportunity to pay off one. So I feel like I'm not being honest by telling you to pay off your car, because I paid off my student loans literally 2 years after graduating. That was a priority for me. Like, I was like, I have to pay for all my loans. But now that I'm 32, I feel like paying off your loans is the smartest thing to do. But I also feel like paying off your car and not having that car note, and being able to put that car note towards your student loans, you'll pay. I mean, this is a tough one. What do you guys think? Comment below. What would you do? Would you pay off your college? Oh, this is a tough one. I don't know. Next question. What would you do if you wanted to go get back with an ex from the past that you messed up? Would I get back with an ex from the past? I would say no, I wouldn't get back with an ex from the past, because if you're in the past, it was for a reason. But I want to say that people grow, people change, and you know, sometimes people are compatible, just not at the time that they were together, and not everyone gives each other enough time to grow with each other. So I want to say that I would possibly give an ex a chance again, you know, if I was in a situation like that, to do so. But I would say that if I messed up, then I don't know if I would give that person a chance. It all depends on the person. I'm good to assume, which is not good to do, because you make an ass out of yourself. But if I did not make an ass out of myself, I would assume that this person would always remember what I did in the past, and I feel like it would always be something that I'm constantly reminded of. And I feel like that wouldn't help our relationship anyway, so I probably would not. I wouldn't. I just wouldn't do it. Sex or no sex before marriage? What's your take on it? Okay, so 25-year-old Nikita, absolutely sex before marriage, because I feel like, you know, when you're young and you're deciding to marry someone at such a young age, you really want to make sure that you are sexually compatible with that person, right? Before saying I do, because sex is one of the most important things of marriages. A lot of marriages fail because of their sexual chemistry. But as a 32-year-old Nikita, I would say, what would I say? I think I would still sex before marriage, but I will say that only because of the day and age that we are in right now is why I would say that, because there's so much things that's so public. Like, we are not in the age of our parents, you know. But I do understand why in the Bible it says no sex before marriage. I get it now that I'm 32. When you are a woman of the church, right? And you are considering having sex before marriage, and everyone looks at you like, you shouldn't do that, and it's a sin, and whatever, and all these things, and they judge you and all that stuff. I don't think that should be a reason to not partake in sexual activities before marriage, because a sin is a sin. No sin is greater than or larger than the other. That's one. Two, I feel like if you don't, you regret it. But then I feel like when you do, and you have amazing sexual partners before your husband, and you and your husband don't have that same sexual chemistry, you'll always think back about that person that you always had great sex with. And that is the downfall. And I think that is why it states in the Bible that you shouldn't have sex before marriage. Because when you are not privy to those feelings and all those things, the person that you have sex with, you're going to feel like it's the best thing that you ever had if you believe in your marriage. Because God is going to make sure that you enjoy the sex that you're having with your spouse. He's going to make sure that you guys are unison with one. You're going to love it if you guys allow yourself to grow with each other, right? Because what that means is the type of sex that you would possibly have with your husband when you are newly married, when you have never had sex before, is not the sex that you're going to want to have with him 5-6 years later after you've been having sex so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. Like, you're now in tune with your body and who you are and what you love and what you want to do. So you want to try things, and you'll have to hope that your spouse is willing to, so going back to the marriage and like allowing each other to grow, allowing each other to be themselves, allowing your spouse to, be who they want to be, and allowing yourself to learn how to maneuver into that new journey, because you guys are both going to grow and change. I wish that my husband could do this with me. In fact, I'm going to probably do another video where he can do it with me, so you guys can get like a man's perspective. So yeah, I would say sex before marriage. Yeah, I know a lot of the Christians in here are going to be like, I cannot believe you just advised that, but that is my and you know what else I would advise? I would advise living with the person that you want to get married with as well. And that's something that my husband and I also did, and that was intentional, and I don't regret it. I don't know if it's a Virgo thing, but when I am dedicated to someone, and I'm with someone, and I love someone, and I want to be dedicated, I want to be loyal to the relationship, longevity. I'm not a person that just like hops and jumps and can just throw people away to the side, and I don't do that. It takes a lot for me to get to that point, which I have gotten there. So like, I know what that feels like, but it takes a lot for me to get there. But I don't want to do that. So to me, when I knew that I wanted to marry my husband, like we went to marriage counseling together. We had those conversations where it was just like, this is it. Like, so, we have to really like, get to know each other, get to understand each other. And that just doesn't happen by conversation. That happens with time and experience. And I'm talking about different experiences, like me getting arrested. How does my husband react to that? Like that's just one example, which really did happen, like just all of those things determine like, who is this person? How are they going to react under for certain situations? How is this person going to be, when the place is messy? How is this person going to be when there's not dinner there? How is this person going to be like, how does this person clean the toilet? Is this person peeing in the hole? Is this woman leaving a ring around the tub? Is this like, all of those things really, really matter. And both sides need to see that, because it don't matter how much you love somebody, baby. When you live with somebody, if you don't like them, it's never going to work. Love and like are two different things. I could love a million people, but if I don't like your character, then it's not going to work. You'll be fighting every single day. And who wants to fight? It's not going to work. So yeah, that's my advice. Okay, there's so many questions here, and I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm going to try to hurry up and get through all of the questions. How did you fund the increase of your businesses? Loans or personal credit? So, I didn't take out any loans when I opened up my business at all. Do I regret it? No. Was it wise? No. If I could do it again, I would do it completely differently, and I feel like that's what's happening now. I feel like I'm literally revamping my business, and I'm doing it the way that I should have done it, or the way that I wish I did do it. But everything happens for a reason. God makes no mistakes. Every journey that I've been through was purposely done and has purposely happened to bring me where I am right now. My business is literally upside down. Like, we are I'm saying we because now I have a COO, but I didn't. So I was upside down for a long time. And what upside down means in a business is that your business is not even able to cover itself. You're always giving extra money to sustain the business. And that happened for so many reasons, you know, like poor management. Because poor management stems from everything, including me, the top, you know, like, and just trusting everyone because they said they could do something or because they've done something, you know, and had no proof to show me. Like when you're younger, you really don't make the best decisions because you're going off of intuition. And when your intuition tells you, you know, you're making the right choice, do it, you do it. And sometimes it's not the best choice. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you can't follow your heart. Like sometimes you need to follow like common sense. And a lot of the choices that I made, I shouldn't have. But that's neither here nor there. We're here now. And my advice to you would be is to, you know, get your business portfolio in order. Do crowdfunding. Do there's so many different ways. It all depends on what route you want to take. But there are ways to raise money for the business that you believe in. And, you know, sometimes you would have to give equity in your business. Sometimes you don't. But there's just so many different ways that I could have done it. So my advice to you would be to do your research. Don't spend all of your money. And possibly take out a loan, do crowdfunding, or do investments in your business. I literally worked hard to raise the money for both of my brick and mortars. I didn't have any loans at all. And yeah, I don't regret it, as I said, but you know, there's so much more things that I always wanted to do that I could have done with that money that I couldn't because I used it for my dreams, you know. And it's okay to believe in your dreams. I always believe in my dreams. Sometimes doing that is great, and sometimes, you know, I end up in a hole and I'm just like, what the hell? But it is what it is. Those are the choices that you make, and you just have to roll with the punches. Get up and figure it out and do it again. Do it a different way. So that's where we are now. So yeah. So if that helps you, yeah, I didn't do either or. But if I did have the chance to, I would have changed that. I hope that helps. If you're 29 plus and you are unmarried, do you settle down with a good man or do you wait for the love of your life? If I was 29 and I was not married, I would wait for the love of my life. I would never settle. But what I would do is I would date myself. I feel like that's something that a lot of women do not do. Like, who are you? You know, like, who are you? Do you know yourself? And when I say that, it's like, you know, when you date somebody and you get to know them and you ask them all these questions and you find out, like, you know, like, what do you like to do? And, you know, like, what do you like to eat? And, you know, like, do you like peanut butter with your jelly? You know? Do you like ice in your water? You know, do you like, are you, like, do you mind that I, you know, want to be in the bathroom with you while you take a dump? You know, like, do you mind that I eat cereal while I'm on the toilet? Like, do you, like, you gotta learn the person. You gotta really see if your love can exceed all and anything. You know, are you okay with the person, like, not wanting to talk some days? Are you okay with the person wanting to be alone by themselves some days? Like, everybody is different. And we all go through different things at different times in our life. And I feel like it's so important to get to know the person. And always, like, get to know the person's family, you know, both sides. Their habits, you know, their goals, their health, like everything, their fitness, their health, everything, all that stuff. You get to learn that by living with somebody. And I feel like it was the best decision. Like, I knew that my husband was going to go to the gym every single day. Well, not every single day, but my husband goes to the gym at least 4 times a week. Crazy. It's weird. But he loves it, and that's what he does. And he's always done that. He's always been active. He was a basketball player. He was a baseball player. He played, he was in every sport. So I knew that my husband was always going to be active. Would he love for me to be active with him? Absolutely. But is he okay with me not working out? Absolutely. You know, but like, all of those things you get to know. You get to know your spouse or your significant other by dating them, learning them, living with them, all that stuff. Now, do I think that you can not live with a person and still have a successful relationship or marriage? Absolutely. There are tons of people that got married and lived with each other after marriage. But do I think that the journey is a little bit more difficult? Absolutely. Because just because you say I do doesn't mean that y'all about to be peasy, peachy, and creamy and all that stuff. It doesn't work like that. You're going to be getting married, saying I do, living with each other, becoming one, and getting to learn each other. So that whole phase that you would have done already, you're doing it now. And that's why a lot of marriages don't make it past 2 years, because you realize, I don't like this person. Like, how can you be married to someone you don't like? Seriously, real question. Like, seriously, you're gonna be unhappy. You're gonna be unhappy. So do what works for you, but communication is key. What to do when the people around you aren't leveling up with you, but are stagnant? I think that if the people around you are your friends, then you have to hold it down for your friends. We're all not going to be at the same space and the same pace at the same time. Sometimes more people has more drive than the others in that specific moment, and that's where you come in to like motivate your friend, push your friend, you know, or just give your friend the time that they need to go through that moment. Like, you know, it's a real thing about not being motivated to do anything. But you don't just walk away from your friend because they're unmotivated. If your friend has always been unmotivated and you're deciding to level up your life and that friend is still there, if that's the question that you're asking me, then, you know, you and your friend have, you know, unfortunately grown apart, and that's okay. That's okay. Your friendship will change. But that doesn't mean that you no longer have to be friends. You just, you know, you talk about different things. The things that you would talk about that you're excited about, that motivates you, that you're doing in your life, in whatever area that is, because it could be business, it could be, you could be leveling up in so many different ways. I'll pray that God gives that friend some motivation and encouragement and drive to get up and be the person that you see that person can be, because that can be a thing too. We all see so much motivation. We all see so much in a lot of people around us that doesn't see it for themselves, and all you can do is just continue to be the person to like express to them how much potential that they have, and hope for the best. That's it. You know, we don't know everything. I don't know everything. You know, who am I to tell this person I don't want to be around you because you ain't doing shit with your life no more? No. No. How do you stay the same person online? Honestly, I stay the same person online because I don't ever want to feel like I have to change who I am in any room that I'm in. I don't ever want, I never want to be uncomfortable in my own skin. I love who I am. I do. I'm not even being cocky. I really do. I love that I am outspoken. I love that people don't understand me. I love that, you know, people may not, you know, love, you know, who I am when I say certain things, because all of that is them feeling how they feel about the person that I am. You know, it's not about the person that I'm pretending to be. And I think that's the best part. I feel like I really like dedicate myself on being authentic to who I am, and I've always been this way, and I don't know why or how that happened, but I am grateful that it did happen. But yeah, I don't know. I want everybody to get the same Nikita. I want everybody to get the same Nikita. That's that. So yeah, but if you're asking me that because you feel like you can't be the same person, like maybe you feel like you have to pretend to be someone else to be liked online, then my advice to you would be to slowly start being more like yourself. And if that drives people away, then it does. But you'll gain the people that like who you truly are. I hope that helps. What would you do if you could redo your wedding day? Do's and don'ts. If I could revisit my wedding day and redo it, I would have still chosen Miami. I would have only invited 50 people instead of 107, and I would have had less bridesmaids. That's what I would have done. And I say that because, you know, a lot of the people that I had in my wedding, I didn't want to be in my wedding. I did it because I felt like I needed to, because at 25, it was like, you know, this person has been in my life for so long. This person is, you know, in my family through marriage. This person, you know, like, I'm cool with it. Just because you're cool with people don't mean they need to be in your wedding. Like, just because you are cool with people does not mean they need to be in your wedding. I would have spent way less money, and way less money by inviting less people, because I think I did a really good job with our budget for the wedding. I think we did a great job. But yeah, that's what I would have done, and I would have. Yeah, I wouldn't have changed anything. I didn't invite my father to my wedding. That's a whole nother story time. But I was gonna say maybe I would have invited him, but I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have changed that. My father and I are cool, by the way, now. This is a lot of years later, but yeah, I still wouldn't have. So yeah, So the advice that I'm giving you is go back through your list and make sure that you're sure that you invite in the right people. And then 2, minimize your list as much as you can. And then 3, make sure you don't choose people to be in your bridal party just because you're trying to fit aesthetic, or just because you're trying to have an even group number, or just because this person is your cousin, or just because you've known this person for 10 years, or just because this person has helped you in your relationship. None of those are valid reasons as to why people should be in your wedding. So don't do that. Any parental advice? My toddler is showing out. Meditation. I would play meditation for my child to soothe them. Not when they're acting out. This is something that you should make a habit now. And I would be very mindful on the foods that my children are eating. I really do believe that the foods that our children eat affects their behavior. Less fast food, less junk food, and more vegetables and more like hearty meals. I do. I would also I would hope that your child is not drinking sodas and stuff, but if there is, no judgment. This is a no judgment zone. But I would cut that out, and I would hold back on the sugars, because all of those things affects the child behaviors. So when my children act out, I get down to their level and I talk to them in their eye, and I ask what is wrong? What's going on? Are you okay? Why are you because sometimes your kids just need a hug. Seriously. Sometimes your kids just need a hug, but communication really is everything. Like, I talk to my children like they're adults. What's going on? Why do you feel like this? Are you okay? And I look at them in their eyes. I don't talk above them. I don't, and you're going to get frustrated. You're going to yell sometimes, and that's okay. You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. The only person that's perfect is God. I think that it's very important to set expectations with your children. I think that it's very important for your children to know that that is not a behavior that's going to be tolerated nor accepted. We respect each other. We are kind to one another. We are that's how I speak to my kids. And I know it sounds crazy, but I really, really do. Because it's kind of you got to let them know, yo, what are you doing? All of that, chill out. We don't do that. What's the matter? And then, and as I'm doing this, I'm talking to them, at their level. Kneel down. Kneel down. Let them know that I'm speaking to you. I love you. I care about you. I want to understand your feelings. I want you to understand what I'm saying. And I think that that's something that can help. I feel like we, and I'm going to say we as all of us, because I'm talking to you and I'm talking to myself too. I feel like we always need to make sure that these consequences are understood. My consequences in my household is my children love Ryan and Coco Melon and love playing with their toys. And, so I say things like, do you want to watch Ryan? Make sure you finish eating all your food. Your dinner's not done yet. You sure you want some apple juice? Because if you want that apple juice, that's how I speak to them. So it's kind of I'm going to take away something that you love. So if you want it, which I know you do, let's finish it. So it's also in the way that I say it too. It's I'm not really giving you an option. I say things like, you want to watch Ryan tonight, right? I know you do. So you should hurry up and finish eating your food. Okay? I'm not going to talk to you again. This is the last time I'm going to have to explain myself to you. Stuff like that. I'm not giving my child a chance to say, no, I don't want to watch Ryan. Or, oh, because sometimes that happens all that extra stuff. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to see it. Unacceptable. Not happening. I set those boundaries at home because I don't ever want to hear any teacher saying that about my children doing it in school. I don't like it. It's unacceptable. It's rude. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. So you got to start setting those boundaries now, And like I said, the whole yelling thing above them, you cannot do that. Yeah, you can raise your voice because your child needs to understand that you are not happy with the behavior that they're doing right now, but you should be speaking to them eye to eye. Kyrie, what is the problem? What are we having difficulty with right now? My kids go to sleep listening to Einstein music. This is something I've done since they were literally babies. Or let me tell you, bedtime lullabies, because it's playing right now. Look, this is not even a joke. Is it showing? Bedtime lullabies, meditation music. If my child has been wilding that day, when I say wilding, I'm all that stuff I was just telling you I don't like, all this stuff, because all those things are learned behaviors. So it's so important to see who your children are around. And that's one thing I don't like about schools is because, you could be doing all these things at home with your children. Your children are going to know how to act at home. But if your children goes to school and they see another child acting up and, and the educators there are not handling that the right way, and instead of making that child understand that that's not what is accepted in the school, but instead they give more attention to that child, because usually that's what happens. Those children that act out just want more attention. then what happens is your child is now going to see that behavior and say, okay, well, this person is getting so much more attention when they do that, so I'm going to try it too. You know, just always pay attention to your children and pay attention to when it starts. Like, I noticed certain behaviors with my son, and I sure enough went to the school the next day and asked the question, what happened in school? What's going on? Because my son came home and did X, Y, and Z, and he doesn't do that. You know, and it's not a pinpoint thing. It's not to say that my child is better than anyone else's, but it's a collaborative effort. We all have to want this village to be great. The same way that I want my child to be great, I want the children in his classroom to be great. So who can I speak to? Well, you know, like, so we can all like help one another, communicate, and make sure that our children are understanding consequences and understanding expectations of growing up to be wonderful young men and women. My daughter was born the day before cross and isn't conversing as yet. Help. So when I saw this question, I immediately got emotional because I feel like I was dreading seeing these kind of questions. Because one of the compliments that I get all the time is about my children and how well they speak, and what you should do is just try to figure out how to be a better parent for your child, right? Not saying that there's anything wrong with your parenting. What that means is every child is different, right? So Kyrie and Cross are completely different. What I do, or what I've always done, is communicate. The advice that I'm giving right now, I spoke to this mom privately. I'm gonna say it again here. Communication is everything. I feel like the reasons why my children speak so much is because my family and I, my husband and I, my girlfriends and I, we all spoke to them like they were adults from the moment they were born. Like, I did not tolerate or do the baby talk with anyone. Like, even with family members, I would say stuff like, don't talk like that to them. Not in a rude way, of course, but like, I would say just like that. I don't think that's rude. That might sound rude, but yeah, like, I don't do that. Don't do that. How communicative they are. So it was very hard for me because all I could think was how many other women or men feel the same way, right? And I just want to make it very clear now that I know that it's extremely hard to do as parents, but we should never compare your children to other children. Literally, we are teaching our children who to become, who to be. So I didn't want any confusion. I wanted them to understand what I was saying, even when they didn't understand what I was saying, by me speaking clearly. I also had my children in tutoring outside of regular school, which is another expense. But education is really important to me, and I don't want my children to be raised the way that I was, which was you don't have a choice, do it. I didn't enjoy doing it. I wanted my children to find education fun. So my children actually love learning, but it was because it was something that I instilled with them and how I instilled it in them. Like, I read to my children. I keep saying past tense because I feel like my daughter is so much older than she is, and she's only 2. But I read, and I still do read to my children every night, like every night. And if I miss a night, I'm going to say they're being read to at least 5 days out of the week. And not only at bedtime, during the daytime as well. Like, after we do homework, like, reading is something that we always do. My husband loves to read, so they see my husband reading a lot. I have grown to enjoy reading, but I don't read because I enjoy it. I read to learn. I read to like grasp knowledge, whether it be in business or something entertaining, but I'm not doing it for fun. I'm doing it. So we're different. My husband literally loves reading. I'm doing mine more so to learn something. But when your children see you doing that, they're going to pick up those behaviors. And that's with anything. Whatever your children see you do, they're going to pick up. So if you're the parent that's not reading and you're telling your children, you have to read, no, you have to do this, you have to do that, they're not going to want to do it because you're not doing it. So that seems like a punishment to them. It doesn't seem like that's something that's a normalcy to them. So it's something that you should do more of if you want your children to do more of it, you know? So my advice to the people out here that don't have children yet, that are pregnant, start reading now every day to your baby. I did that as well. Your kids hear you reading. And then when they're born, read. Pick up a book. Even if you're not reading, put a magazine in the book. It's literally just them paying attention to you read, you know? And then what else? I was also intentional with the TV shows that they watch. Like, Kyrie was very obsessed with PJ Masks. If you guys know PJ Masks is not a kid show. PJ Masks is like a toddler show. And as an infant, as a baby, my son was watching that. So I think that also helped. And my daughter, she, everything her brother does, she wants to do. So she's also falling in that whole, like, she loves Ryan. My daughter's 2. She understands what Ryan, she understands that whole stuff. She, once again, we are what our children are going to become. So what they watch, what they listen to, what they see, what they do, all of that stuff. I lack motivation. I know what I'm capable of, but I'm lazy. How do you find the motivation? This was a great question for me because I legit lack motivation sometimes as well. I know to you guys it seems like, oh my God, she got her shit going on. She got this, she got that. She be working out. She be always with her kids. She be doing this. She be finding time for her friends. She be da-da-da. How does she do this? How does she do this? How does she do this? Guys, it's hard AF. It's hard AF. I lack motivation all the time too. The Nikita that I know that I'm capable of being, I'm nowhere near Nikita. I'm nowhere near that girl. And that's scary. Because I see that girl. I see that person that I know that I'm capable of becoming. And I'm not living up to what that person needs, what she needs to do to become that person. I'm not there yet. But I'm striving every day to get there. And what I'm doing to get motivation, because that's a way for me to answer that. Like, I feel the same way that you feel. And I know that it seems different, but I hope this helps. What I'm doing to get to that person is literally getting up every day and doing it. So what that means is, like, everything that I want to do or that I want to take seriously, I'm working on it every day. So, like, I have different goals right now, and I've literally started working on all of those goals little by little, because to me, I know that it's not happening right now, but I'm working on them. So because I'm working on them, in my mind, it's already me making the time and letting myself see that this is something that I'm doing. And I'm also letting all of the things in my life, like, align to incorporate all of these things that I want to happen in the future by getting up every day and taking time to dedicate whatever it is that I have to do to focus on those individual goals that I have. So that's how I find the motivation. I find the motivation by knowing that I am not where I want to be, and that I know that I could be there, and I tell myself, you have to do it. I also, this is like a good piggyback off of one of the other questions, I make sure that I am following people that are motivating me. If I'm not following people that's motivating me, then it's gonna be hard for me to be motivated, because you can't motivate yourself if you're not motivated. So I follow those people. I go through a cleanse, do a cleanse on your social media, and only follow people that's motivating you, and that's gonna help you. Because I feel like literally I literally changed a lot of the things about what I was doing before that I didn't like not working out, like not eating the right way that I know that I need to or know how to. I wasn't doing any of that because I wasn't seeing it all the time. And now I'm seeing it all the time with, with the things that I'm watching, the things that I'm reading every morning. I'm listening to more podcasts, more intentional podcasts. Because before, the podcast that I would listen to would be like Breakfast Club, shit like that. That ain't helping me. Or investment podcasts for the things that I want to do, right? So yeah, that's helping me for the things that I want to do, but that's not helping me be motivated. So now I'm listening to more motivational podcasts, like Earn Your Leisure. I really enjoy Earn Your Leisure, and I don't know if it's because it's like black folks. I don't know, but I definitely feel like they talk to me when they're talking, and I feel like I hear a lot of my life and my background when I'm listening to other people that are successful and their stories. It's motivating. So that is something that I watch. That's something to incorporate. I even follow their Instagram because I love watching those reels, and I love feeling motivated. So I'm gonna follow and I'm gonna listen to all the things that motivate me. I have a low sex drive, but my husband is the opposite. A sis needs help. For low sex drives, this is what I would do. The first thing I would do is I would start going to the gym. I know that sounds crazy, but I would go to the gym. When I go to the gym, I notice that my sex drive is higher. It's definitely gonna boost your libido. I definitely would do that. That's what I would do. That's my first thing. And then the second thing is like, I'm all for natural things, so I would definitely like go the natural approach as well. Or eating more things that's an aphrodisiac, like fruits. Chocolate is a great aphrodisiac. Herbs is a good aphrodisiac. Different teas. I'll give you a list of those teas. I actually put something up on the side. Boosting your confidence is something that's definitely gonna help with your sex drive. So going and getting sexy lingerie, lotioning up your body, putting on your favorite perfumes, not day perfumes, like night perfumes. So something less strong, something more feminine and relaxing, and setting the vibes. Touching yourself, pleasing yourself, enjoying yourself by yourself is something that would help you. Listening to the right music, reducing your stress. Also, limiting your alcohol intake. They say that, like the limit of your alcohol intake can increase your sex drive. Don't shoot the messenger. I feel like if you've done all of those things and you tried all of those things and your sexual drive is not as high as your spouse's, there's a lot of other things you can do. You can incorporate taking there's a honey that I've taken that's phenomenal. However, it's not something that I would take all the time. So I don't want to recommend it to you. I'm gonna post a picture of it right here somewhere, so you guys can see what it is. And if you're looking for a good time, a little nice, you know, a little nice one time, then for sure, shoot your shot, have a good time. Wrap it up if you're not trying to get pregnant, because that's definitely how Cross came. My baby girl Cross is here from that honey. But if that doesn't work, I would definitely, like, you know, speak to my doctor about it. But honestly, I think that all of those things should work. Figs, I don't know if you know what a fig is, but that's an aphrodisiac. Avocados, I love me some avocados. Avocados is an aphrodisiac. If you didn't know, now you know. You know, those foods, it increases your blood flow to, you know, your genitals. So it promotes a healthy sex life. And don't forget, you know, although you're limiting your alcohol, one glass of wine ain't never hurt nobody. Deciding between a pleasurable partner or an ideal partner. So pleasurable partner would be sex and like dates. An ideal partner would be respectful, family oriented. I wouldn't be able to decide. Actually, I wouldn't be. I mean, I personally will go with the more respectful, family oriented, because you can always teach someone how to love you the right way sexually. There is a such thing as teaching someone how to please you sexually. Yeah. I definitely would go with the ideal partner, respectful, family oriented, because you can have great sex with someone but not like them. I hope you leave feeling more beautiful than when you came. See you guys next time. Mwah.